Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today will be an exciting show. I'm going to get my giant asparagus fern, bring it up from the cold storage in the basement, and give it a good pruning. I'm also going to be installing the shelves at the back of the plant room here so I can fit more of the tropical trees from the basement up into the plant room. As the weather gets colder outside and the basement gets colder, I need to bring them up. I'm also going to be doing some 3D printing. I'm going to print a figure from Avatar, the movie, and I'm going to put them underneath one of my trees. So I'll show you the beginnings of that process. Here's the back of the room where I'll be putting the shelving. So I've got to measure it up, make sure the shelving will fit for starters. All right, I've got the tape measure, so I have to come between this box-like structure here and the end wall. So I'm going to measure it, and I only have a imperial measuring tape, so it is about 8 feet. 8 feet long. So hopefully my shelves are a little shorter than 8 feet and they can fit in there against the back wall. I can roll this table out and rearrange things a bit. I've got a lot of trees that I'm storing on the floor right now. So once I get those shelves back there, I can get them off the floor and on the shelves. So that'll be a lot nicer. The shelves that I'll be using in the back of the room are the ones that I assembled using Shirley's simple shelving brackets. They sent them to me for free and they've been fantastic. So that it all just slips together. So it should be easy to take it apart today and bring it in the room if it fits. So let's head outside now and measure it up and see if it fits in the room. Here's the shelving unit that I'll be bringing inside. So let's get it measured up. All right, let's 7 feet. It works out it's 7 feet long, so that gives me that much to spare each end. That'll be perfect. All right, let's see if I can get it apart. All right, let's get the snow off it. There's a dinosaur. I've got a chunk of granite here that I'll have to move. I don't know where to put this one. Maybe in over here. Now there's some more ice to get off here. Like that. That's pretty easy. Bit of snow to remove down here. So these shelves just slip together. They're really good. And they're also very stable. They're amazing. All right, it's coming. There we go, there's the one board off. Take that away. And now, get all my pots out of the way. Now I've got to get the bottom bracket out. So, that's coming. I think. Bit frozen into the ground. There we go. Okay. So there's the bracket out. Really a well-made bracket. Powder coated. Fantastic. It's worked really well. I'm very impressed with these shelving units. Made in USA too. And to be able to take them apart like this is just bonus, that you can move them around. Bring them indoors, outdoors. Fantastic, with no tools. All right, there's that apart. Bracket number 2. So that's the shelving unit apart. I'll bring it inside and we'll reassemble it. Pretty amazing shelving unit. So if you're interested, go to Shirley's Simple Shelving and you can just order the brackets, and they come in all different styles, sizes. You know, you can get little ones, big ones, multi-tiered ones. It's fantastic, and they all just slip together with no tools. The wood's not included, but that's easy to get from any lumber yard. All right, that's it. Taken apart. I've even got my screws on the back for my lights, to hang my lights off the bottom shelf, so that's good. All right, in go the shelving brackets. So that was the easy part. Now I got to fit those long boards into the room. I've got the shelves outside of the plant room here in the hallway. I'm just letting them kind of drip dry. I've got to get some ice off this one here. So when that melts a bit, I'll scrape that down. And I have to clear room in here. So I'm going to have to roll this table back because it's on wheels. Maybe move my heater out of the way. Get these tables out of the way. Yeah, just kind of rearrange the room a bit so I can get those shelves back in here. Now, I need the shelves fairly low. I might raise them a little bit. Like I might get a cement block to put underneath each of the brackets of the shelves just to raise it up a bit. But in the middle of winter, you can see the light. It comes in from the top of the window and it kind of comes down at an angle. So it kind of hits the floor at a very low level back here. If I have the shelves up higher, they would be in shadow. So I've noticed on a sunny day, all the plants on the floor down here are in the sunshine. So that's why I have them on the floor. The ones up taller, up on this unit, they don't get much sun at all. It's just too low. So yeah, that's my plan. I'm going to rearrange the room now. Fit this tree up here, behind here. Which the carry it after forest can go over here, like that. Get all my watering bottles and sprayers and that up on the shelf here. Okay, so now I'm ready to roll this table out. So here I go. And it rolls quite easily. Once you get it going the right direction. I have to be very careful not to knock anything over here. So there. That's lots of room for my shelves. This is the spot here where the shelving will go. I'll sweep the floor, clean up all my shelving brackets, my shelves, and then start assembling it. So putting the tar in these floors worked out really well. It really waterproofs them and very practical. I was a little worried that maybe they smell in the winter, but they don't smell at all. They've kind of hardened and cured, and it makes a really good floor. I'm very, very happy with the tar. I've got the floor all cleaned up, so now I can bring the shelving in and start assembling it. So here I go. So I'll bring the two brackets in first and just kind of roughly set them up on the floor here. One down this end and one down this end. There we go. That's in. Now I'll get the other end in. This board's kind of split, so it's a little harder to get in than normal, but it gets, it goes. It gets and it goes. There, that's in there. So you just need to overhang it, you know, the board just a little bit. Maybe I'll go a little further. About to there. That's good. Okay, all right, now I'm bringing in the top board, and I got to get that in place. This one goes in up here. Like that. That's in. And now I got to get the other end in. Here's a look at the shelving now. Wow. A little bigger than I thought they were. Well, that's good. It'll hold lots of trees. So I think that's a pretty good height off the ground. They'll all get sunlight. Yeah, so that's good. So I'll let them warm up just a little bit more, dry them off, and then I can start putting trees on top of them. I'm ready to move some of the trees onto the back shelves. So I'll start with my Portulacaria afroforest. That way I can move this sliding or rolling table over more. Yeah, I'll make it a lot easier. So let me get that out. Be very, very careful here. Oh, okay. There we go. And get my stool out of the way. I got these down here too. I can't roll my table over yet. Like that. Okay. Now I can get it. There we go. Up, up, and away. Just like Superman. Okay, that's off the floor. Now I'm going to roll this table way up here. Leaving no aisleway at the moment. Here's a look at the shelves now. I will be mounting my shop lights up here, my LED shop lights, to give them a little more light in the winter. I'll just have to put brackets in the wall. I don't know how I'll do it. I've got my plywood stacked up here. I might only be able to do it down this end. Yeah. Oh well. I'll figure something out. So yeah, that's good. I'm going to start moving more trees onto the shelves now, so I'll bring them up from the basement. And I'll bring up today's project, which will be the asparagus fern. All right, here it comes. And onto the shelf. It's only taken about 3 pots to fill the top shelf up here. Yeah, I can slide them down a bit, but yeah, it fills them up pretty good. I have a lot of big ones for the bottom shelf down here. My ficuses, and what else do I have? My yucca forest. That's big. That'll fill this shelf up pretty quickly. A problem I'm seeing is that the light will come down on an angle, and this table will shadow out these bottom shelves down here. I might be able to position the table at the very end of the room. That's where I used to have it. I think I'll do that. I'll put it sideways at the very end of the room. That'll clear up a bit of sunlight to come into this shelf area here. I'm rearranging the room now, so I'm putting this table back here, flipping it sideways and putting it against the back wall. I measured it, it'll just fit, so that's good. And that should clear up a lot of space in the middle of the room here, so I could do my videoing. It's a very tight fit. Okay, I'm kind of up against the table there and the shelf here. Oh dear. I think it's pretty close. Let me see if I can force it through a bit. Oh my goodness. Oh, there we go. That was too close. Okay, now I've got to straighten the table out. This table's very heavy, by the way. There we go. That's easy now. Back it goes. Okay, that's pretty good. Ready for today's video. I've got the asparagus fern up on the turntable so I can begin pruning. The asparagus fern didn't seem to suffer any ill effects from the cold down in the basement, where it was, you know, quite cool, anywhere between 5 degrees Celsius and it gets up to about 9. So I'm going to start by pruning off these really long shoots. You can see how they've grown over the summer. So I want to prune it back to more of a tree-like form. So I'll start with these long overhanging shoots, and I'll probably just remove them entirely. Here's a look at those long cascading branches. So yeah, they're coming out too low. I want the foliage to start about this level. You want to be able to see some trunk, which is not actually a trunk, but the roots. And so off it comes. It's going to come off right at the base here, just like that. There's one at the back here now, and it's the same. It's coming off very low. So I'm going to remove that entirely, like that. There's another one here. There's a couple here that are quite low. I'll remove those. That one. And there's one coming from right down to ground level here. Another one from here. That can come off. And way up here and up here, like that. So that's got all the really low hanging branches off the tree. Oh, there comes the sun. Ah, nice to see a bit of sun today. There's still a lot of this longer foliage that needs pruning back. Oh, there's a berry on it. Cool. I'll show you a close-up of the berry. There's a close-up of the berries. There's a green one there, which hasn't ripened up, and a red one, which is a little overripe. So they get little white flowers all over them, and the flowers turn into berries. There's a look at the base of the tree. It's looking quite impressive. Up top, I've also noticed a few red berries. There's one there, and one right here. There's a green one. Very nice. I'm going to start pruning back these longer shoots now, getting sort of an umbrella-shaped canopy on it. So, basically, a profile pruning. And I'll just kind of start rough for now, so I'll have to prune these berries off, unfortunately, but there's an old branch here that's gone yellow. I'll take that right off. Old shoot. These shoots, they last about 2 years. Then they start fading and they fall off. There's a new shoot there come out. Big vigorous one up top here. So these plants are quite easy to grow as a tree form. You basically just have to profile prune them. That's about it. They grow nice and dense, and they look quite nice. And they're easy to care for. They can tolerate drought. Yeah, really good plant. They seem to grow well indoors and outdoors. It's always preferable to grow them outdoors, but a bit of a yellow branch at the back here. Prune that back. All right, I'm going to step back and have a look at it. All right, I'm having a look at it from the front now. So it's looking quite nice. I would say it needs a bit more shaping up top. It's a little full at the sides. It needs, more of an umbrella-shaped canopy. Some of those lower branches can be pruned away so you can see a bit more of the trunk. Yeah, so I'll work away at that. All right, so I'm going to get rid of some of these really low branches. I can figure out where they're coming from. Like that. A lot of these aerial roots have dried up. It was a fairly hot, dry summer this year. Some years this thing just sends out aerial roots like crazy. So I'm getting rid of these lowest ones. Trying to get that tree-like form. You can style these any way you want too. I just feel it looks like a tropical tree with all these kind of aerial roots that hang down, so I kind of style it like a big old ficus or something. That seems to look quite good. All right, so I'm just working my way around the bottom here, cleaning out these lowest branches. Trying to expose more of a trunk. Be a lot easier to get in here now and water too. It was getting quite difficult to water this. A lot of these leaves get all tangled up and braided, and you're always kind of untangling all these branches as they grow in. Okay, so I think that's got most of these lower ones removed. Just a few more here, I guess. Now, I'm trying to remember where the front was. Was it here or was it here? It doesn't really matter. I think it was this side. Usually I place them back in the pot a little bit, and there's a little more soil out front, so I think that was the front I had. So now I'm going to continue shaping and pruning. Just getting rid of some of these hanging branches. I call them branches, but they're not. I mean, this isn't even a tree. It's basically a weed. So I think my next step, I've got to untangle all this foliage. It's kind of all crisscrossed, and just sort of see what's going on with it. Yeah, anything you don't like there's a few dried up roots here that aren't connected to anything, you just cut them off. I've got kind of a branch at the front here that's hanging down. I don't like that, so I'm going to remove that one. You can't really make a mistake on these trees because they fill in quite quickly if you prune, the branches off. You think, oh, I should have left that on. Well, a new one will grow in fairly quickly. Take this one off. Definitely this one has to come off. Like that. So you can see from the front I'm getting the bottom cleaned up. I still have to make my canopy a bit more of a umbrella shape, so I'll work on that now. I'll just prune back anything sticking up too much. Let me come out front and have a look at it now. I'm having a look at it from the front now. I think it's looking good shape-wise. I still think there's a lot of shoots sticking out that could be pruned back a bit, just to give it a more mature look, so it's not, the outer part of the profile isn't so rough looking, it's a little smoother. Yeah, so a little more refinement, and I think that's going to do it. My asparagus fern started off as a little plant about this size, and I just grew it over the years. And every time I repot it, I raise it a little bit in the pot, exposing a little more of the roots, and that gives it that trunk. And I just keep it pruned, and it gets a little larger every year. And yeah, it's rather a unique looking plant, a tree-shaped plant. I don't know if you'd consider it a bonsai. I think I would. I think it gives you the impression of a tree or a piece of nature, and it gives the impression of a miniature tree. So I would call it a bonsai. Some people might not, but all right, so a little more refining on the canopy. It's nice to get a little branch separation too, so you can kind of see a bit of a layering effect. It also helps make it look like a mature tree. And you can prune anything kind of growing inwards or crossing. You apply your normal branch pruning rules to it. You can move anything growing down from the branches, cleaning up the underside of them. Any technique like that makes it look more like a tree. If you get any discolored leaves, yellow ones, you can just pluck the needles out. There's some here. Usually means a branch is getting old. I've got a bit of a low spot here, so sometimes you can rearrange the branches a bit to do a bit of shaping. Maybe a little more pruning. I think that's looking much better. I'll rotate it around so you can see it from all angles. So there's the front. Coming around to the right side. The back. The left side. And back to the front. So I'm going to give it a good watering. It's been quite dry in the basement. And as I said, these can tolerate, a lot of drought. I'll do that. I'll give it a good watering. I'll clean up the surface of the soil. And then we'll come back and have a final look at it. I'll show you the cutting room floor too. How much I took off. Quite a bit. Probably enough to make another tree. I've got the soil surface cleaned up now, so there's a view looking underneath the giant tree. I'm going to give it a watering now. It'll be interesting to see how fast this tree wakes up and starts growing. I have a feeling it'll happen quite quickly. Yeah, this soil is very dry. You can see the water just pools up on it and runs off. So it'll take quite a few soakings before it actually starts soaking into the soil. Yeah, so I'll just have to keep watering it. It might take quite a while for it to start soaking into the soil properly. I think this tree has been quite dry in the basement. There's still a few red berries on it. I promised you a bit of an avatar theme to this video. So I'm going to put my asparagus fern on the bench and I'll just keep watering it over the next hour or so, keeping the surface wet, and it should gradually be able to soak in more and more water until it starts running out the drainage holes. So let's switch to our avatar theme now. I'm in the basement here with my ficus trees, and I've always wanted an avatar kind of theme with some of these ficuses to look like the home tree in the movie Avatar. And I used to have a little horse underneath the tree, and it made the tree look giant. And I always liked that, and I always wanted some kind of an avatar. Maybe there are six-legged horses or something underneath the tree. And so I started looking online, and any avatar toy is ridiculously expensive. Like, some of the figurines in that, which, maybe this tall, they're like $60 to $100 or more. There's some in the thousands of dollars, some of the more realistic looking ones. And I thought, well, I'm not spending that much money. So I thought, well, maybe I can 3D print something. So I went online and I started looking around for free 3D models on Thingiverse, and I found a model of Neytiri. Neytiri is the female Navi in the movie, the main character. And I thought, well, okay, I can print that out. I can 3D print it. I used the printer at the library. So I was trying to determine what size, and the smaller the better, but the smaller you make it, the more detail you lose in the 3D printing, because I think if you were to resin print, you could probably get a very accurate small scale figure. So I 3D printed this woman a long time ago, and I kind of put her underneath the tree, and I thought, well, does that look okay? And I thought, yeah, it kind of looks like, maybe a younger tree growing. So I decided, that's probably a good scale for 3D printing, so I can still get enough detail in the face and the hair and everything. So I'm going to print Neytiri out at about 160 millimeters, which should be about this height. And I think it'll look quite good. And even if I don't position her right under the tree, maybe off to a side as an element in a display or something. So I'll show you the model, the 3D model, that I'm getting printed. I'll just turn on my holographic projector so you can see what the model looks like. Okay, there it is. So you can see it rotating around. It's quite detailed, and I hope it, when I go to print it, it'll look really good. Yeah, so I was happy to find that free online, and it's on Thingiverse if you want to download the file. The file for it is quite large, so you need some pretty good computing power to make use of it. I'm not sure how long it'll take to print the 3D model of Neytiri. I figure about a week. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.